Just a reminder to those in the company who are digging it out and sometimes lose sight of why they're digging it out or why they're working so hard or why they're, being asked to work on a day that they don't technically work or why they're just plugging in like numbers after numbers after numbers after numbers after numbers after numbers after
one eternity later.
After numbers after numbers after numbers, or why they're having human feces all over themselves as they clean out an apartment in Jamaica Plain, or perhaps why we're filing things on repeat. Sometimes it seems like, what's the point, right? For those of you who've known me for a long time or have looked in my office, this book is in a shadow box in my office. So it's not just how to be rich is not necessarily just like making money, bro. This is actually a very deep book. So it says why doing more work than we're paid for leads to wealth. This law is a stumbling block. In many, a promising career has been broken on it. There's a general inclination among people to perform just as little work as they need to get by. But if you'll study these people carefully, you'll observe that while they may be actually quote-unquote getting by temporarily, they're also not getting anything else. There are two major reasons why all successful people must practice this law. Just as an arm or a limb of the body grows strong in exact proportion to its use, so does the mind grow strong through use. By rendering the greatest possible amount of service, the faculties through which the service is rendered are put into greater use, becoming strong and accurate. By rendering more service than that for which you're paid, you'll be turning the spotlight of favorable attention upon yourself, and it will not be long before you'll be sought after with impressive offers for your services. Do the thing, and you shall have the power, was the admonition of Emerson, to this day one of our greatest philosophers. This is literally true. Practice makes perfect. The better you do your work, the more adept you become at doing it, and this, in time, will lead to such perfection that you will have few, if any, equals in your field. By rendering more service and better service than that which you're paid, you thereby take advantage of the law of increasing returns. This means that you'll eventually be paid in one way or another for far more service than you actually perform. This is not just an attractive theory. It actually works out in most practical tests. You must not imagine, however, that this law always works instantaneously. You may render more service and better service than you're supposed to render for a few days, then discontinue the practice and go back to the old usual habit of doing as little as can safely be trusted to get you by, and the results will in no way benefit you. But if you adopt this habit as part of your life philosophy and let it become known by all who know you that you render such service out of choice, not as a matter of accident, but with deliberate intent, you will soon see keen competition for your service. You'll observe that it's not easy to find very many people rendering such service, which is all the better for you, because you'll stand out in bold contrast with practically all others who engage in work similar to yours. Contrast is a powerful law, and you may, in this manner, profit by contrast. Some people set up the weak but popular argument that it doesn't pay to render more service and better service than one is paid for because it's not appreciated. They add that they work for people who are selfish and will not recognize such service. Perfect. The more selfish an employer is, the more inclined he or she will be to continue to employ a person who makes a point out of rendering such service, which is unusual both in quantity and quality. This very selfishness will impel such an employer to recognize the services. However, if the employer should happen to lack the necessary vision, then it's only a matter of time until all those who render such service will attract the attention of other employers who will gladly reward them. Careful study of the lives of successful people has shown that faithfully practicing this one law has brought compensations by which success is usually measured. If the author of this philosophy had to choose one of the 17 laws of success as being the most important and had to discard all the others except one chosen, he would without a moment's hesitation choose this, the law of rendering more service and better service than paid for. Okay, so that's one. The second one I think is beautiful. Give your business all you've got and more. If you want more of the universal supply, you must use that which you have in a way as to make yourself of greater service to those around you. Whosoever shall be great among you, said Jesus, shall be your minister, and whosoever of you will be the chiefs shall be the servant of all. In other words, if you would be great, you must serve, and he who serves most shall be the greatest of all. If you want to make more money, Instead of seeking it for yourself, see how you can make more for others. In the process, you'll inevitably make more for yourself too. We get as we give, but first we must give. It matters not where you start. You may be a day laborer, but still you can give. Give a bit more energy, of work, of thought than you're paid for. Whosoever shall compel thee to go the extra mile, said Jesus, go with him twain. Try to put a little extra skill into your work. Use your mind to find some better way of doing a task that's been set for you. It won't be long before you're out of the common working class. There's no kind of work that cannot be bettered by thought. There's no method that cannot be improved by thought. So give generously of your thought to your work. Think every minute you're in it. Is there some way in which this could be done easier, quicker, or better? The true spirit of business is the spirit of that plucky old Danish sea captain, Peter Torchold. Attacked by a Swedish frigate after all his crew but one had been killed and his supply in cannonballs was exhausted, Peter boldly kept up the fight, firing pewter dinner plates and mugs from one of his remaining guns. One of the pewter mugs hit the Swedish captain and killed him, and Peter sailed off triumphant. Look around you now. How can you give greater value for what you get? How can you better serve? How can you make more money for your employers or save more for your customers? Keep that thought ever in the forefront of your mind, and you'll never need to worry about making more money for yourself. Okay? So, a lot of reading, I apologize. Hopefully you understand the point. It's one of the things that I did when I was a salesman. It's one of the things that I did when we first started this business, when we initially took on customers. We did so much stuff for other people with zero expectation of payment. And then when we did that, there was no stopping the payment. There was no stopping the creativity and the flow of ideas. There was no stopping any of it. Generally, we have not ever done anything that's just enough. When I talk to you guys about doing deals and presenting things to customers the right way and all that, it's always about going the extra mile. If we're doing financials, it's always about giving the person reading the financials like nothing to even think about or ask, because everything's been perfectly written up or presented in a way that's like makes it real easy for us to move forward, right? For us to sign off and do things like that. It's in all areas of the business. There's no limit to the level of service that anybody here could provide. And it's not just for me, it's growing yourself. It's being better yourself. It's doing all these things for yourself. And as you become bigger, better, stronger, mentally, physically, whatever it is, your life is better. It ultimately spills over into your personal relationship. It's heading out to the coffee shop, and instead of just getting yourself a coffee, it's getting one for your husband or girlfriend or whatever. The other thing, because I believe so deeply in that principle, nothing's ever not noticed. People who go above and beyond, is there anything I've missed that you've done that I haven't at some point found out, even when you didn't tell me? Positive? No. Right? No. I generally see most things. Generally see effort that you may not think that I see because I'm looking for it. And the results of your life will just show it. You know when people are able to put in the effort that's above and beyond. But now I would champion some of that stuff to not just be physical effort, but to be thought effort. Think about things. Spend the 15 minutes or the 30 minutes doing that little bit of work and sending that email, organizing in advance. That's what this is talking about. This isn't like, geez, I haven't done anything. Now I'm going to do something. This is just that little bit of extra that's going to push you to the next level of your careers. You got to know that it's the truth. Done it my whole life, and it has produced fruit. The truth produces fruit. It's using those principles to advance your own life. For me, none of that matters. It's do it for yourself. Be a greater whatever the hell you're doing by delivering more service than for which you're rendered. If there was anything at all that you liked in that video, you're welcome. If there's anything you didn't like, blame Marcos. But either way, like, subscribe, comment, whatever suits you.